phone stand, please. Hello, hello, hello. We are here once again for this month's edition of Girl Talk. I'm excited to be here with you all. Please do me a favor and let's tag some people in. Like, share, comment, tag some people in, and tell them that it's time for Girl Talk. We are live and in color. Please excuse our tardiness. We were having some technical difficulties. Hello, hello, hello. Let's get the people in. Let's get started. I'm excited for Girl Talk. Please look out for a September or October date coming your way for a in-person Girl Talk gathering. We'll be coming to you all soon. I'm excited about it. Still in the workings, but I'm excited. And so please be on the lookout for that. And so last month, we spent time talking about watching what we say, about how it's important that we watch what we say when we're in our storms, when we're in our trials, when we're going through hard times, when we're going through difficult things. And so this month, I know we said we were going to do a financial girl talk, and we still are. But this month, I needed to head into another direction, and I wanted to deal with the perspective of healing, because it is important that you take time through your battles, through your struggles, through your seasons, that even as you enter out of one thing and going into another, or even as you begin to deal with the different situations of your life, that you take the time to heal, that you allow yourself the time to process, that you allow yourself the time to reflect and understand and work through your emotions, and so that you can enter into the next. I think oftentimes we allow ourselves to jump out of one trauma situation to another. We allow ourselves to go through one pain through another. We allow ourselves to jump from one relationship to another, one friendship to another, one job to another, without taking the time to assess what worked, what didn't work, what do I need to do differently, what am I expecting differently, who am I now? These questions are important for us to ask before we allow ourselves to enter into something else. Because the truth of the matter is, if we don't allow ourselves to assess those things, we'll carry old baggage into new situations. And pretty soon that new situation will end up being like the old situation. And then you'll begin to wonder, what is it? Why do I keep attracting the same thing? Why do I keep entering into the same situations? Why do I keep going through the same problems? What is it? Is it me? Am I the problem? And to be honest, yeah, you're part of the problem, because you carried that stuff from Billy to Joe. You carried that stuff from Sally to Sarah. You carried it from Blue Cross Blue Shield to whatever the company is. You carried it from one thing to another. And so I think and during the first girl talk, when we first started back, I told you all that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting to get different results. If I keep carrying that same trauma into different relationships, I'm going to keep getting the same results out of those different relationships. And at some point, I've got to make a decision. It's time to deal with me. And I have to understand that dealing with me, healing, is necessary. It's necessary. It is critical, but it's not pretty. And I've been seeing a whole lot of posts lately, people talking about their healing journey, and I'm on the journey for healing, and all that's wonderful. But I have to understand that healing is messy. Healing is draining. Healing is time consuming. Healing seems like your life is unstable, but it's necessary in order for me to go into my next place. In order for me to begin to be who God has called me to be, it requires me to heal. And so I have to allow myself not to start the process and not finish it. They tell you all the time, when a hospital or a doctor puts you on a medication, what they say to you is you have to complete this medication all the way through, because if you stop, it's more detrimental to you than if you ever never started it. And so we have to understand that if I'm going to start a healing journey, if I'm going to allow myself to begin to heal from some things, I have to finish it even when I feel like I'm better. I have to finish it even when I feel like, okay, I've got this thing down pat. I have to finish it even when I feel like, okay, I've got myself together now. No, I need to go through the process, because if not, I'll find myself back in the same place I was in and even worse off than before. The Bible tells about how it's foolish for, it talks about the parable when it talks about emptying out the house, and the demons. You get rid of one demon and you don't refill the house, and it comes back 7 times worse. That it's the same thing with healing. If I'm going to try to heal and I don't address all the issues, and I don't fix the whole problem, and I don't deal with all of me, what happens is I end up going back to where I was, and I'm worse off than before, because now I've dug up some things I haven't dealt with. Healing is messy, but healing is necessary. It hurts. It does. Because it forces me to deal with me. It forces me to focus on why are you so angry? It forces me to get down to the nitty gritty of why are you so broken? It forces me to get to the root of why are you so detached from people? Why are you so closed in? Why are you an introvert? Why do you feel like you have social anxiety? Why is it you're not a people person? It forces you to really deal with who you really are, and not the facade that you put on to make people think that you're something else. It forces you to really deal with you. Maya Angelou has a quote that says, healing the soul is not about forgetting the past, but it's about learning from it. And I think that is so critical and so important, because I don't need to forget what I've been through, but I need to take that time and find out, what am I going to do with that in my next? What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I mature from this? Healing forces me to realize that every situation wasn't always the other person. It forces me to deal with, what part did I play in this? How did I handle this? Where could I have been more mature in this? What traumas am I allowing myself to demonstrate in this season of my life? Y'all, we don't even realize how bad some things that we've been through will subconsciously cause us to make different decisions in life. It'll cause us to be closed off from people. It'll cause us not to know how to build healthy relationships. It will cause us not to want connections. It will cause us to be ready to leave before we are left. That's the real of us. The real of us. Healing causes me to deal with me. And so it's, well, how can I start my healing journey? How do I get there? How do I go there? Pray. And then pray. And then pray. And then turn around and then pray some more. Because I have to ask God to reveal to me my broken places. I I can remember when Mama Dot was going through her deliverance with her pastors. This was years ago. And she went through the first deliverance. Everybody who knows, Mama Dot has written an amazing book called The Abuse Stops Here. And it tells about her journey of her being raped. But it wasn't until she got on the journey of healing and deliverance that she recognized, that she remembered there was a second rape that she had forgotten about. There are some broken places in your life you don't even remember because you have allowed yourself to cover it up and forget it, out of sight, out of mind, so that you don't have to deal with it. But in the same token, that same broken place will show up in other areas of your life. That same broken place will show up in your relationships. It'll show up in your friendships. It'll show up on your jobs. It'll show up in how you connect to people. Those broken places will show up. So that's how do I start my healing journey? You start it with prayer. Ask God to reveal those broken places. Ask God to reveal those hurts, those pains. We don't even realize how much we try so hard. And I'm gonna deal with this. And this is not everybody's story, but when you have issues with parents, it affects everything you do in life. If you have an issue with the mother, issue with your father, it affects everything you do in life, especially if you have children. Because, and even if you don't have children, it affects what you do in life, because you'll become so focused on trying not to be them, you will subconsciously become them. You'll spend so much time trying hard not to make their mistakes that you'll subconsciously begin to make their mistakes. You'll try so hard not to do the things that they did that you will subconsciously begin to do the things you did. Because if you don't allow yourself to deal with those hurts, those pains, those disappointments, those letdowns, that brokenness, it will begin to show up in everything that you do. It shows up in how you relate to people. It shows up in how you trust people. Because through our mothers, through our fathers, through our parents, we learn nurturing. We learn how to navigate life. We learn those different lessons. And when we don't get those lessons from them, it affects us as adults. It's a trauma. And it affects us. And so if I'm going to break generational curses, if I'm going to break some cycles in my life, I'm going to be forced to deal with some things that I thought I was good in. I thought I was okay. No, I understand why they did what they did. It is what it is, whatever. No, that's not a response, because that doesn't mean I dealt with it. That means I'm avoiding it because I don't want to deal with it. But I have to dig it up and then allow myself to heal from it so that I can move forward. Nobody talks about the fact that when your father is not a part of your life, it affects every part of your life up until adulthood and even on. It affects you. It affects how you see men. It affects how you deal in relationships. It affects how you look at life. It plays a major part. No one talks about how when you have a damaged relationship with your mother, that it affects how you make friends. It affects how you make decisions. It affects how you nurture. It affects how you respond to things. It affects how you do. It plays a major part. So what do I do with that? I need to write. I need to journal. I need to talk it out. I need to put myself into a place. Let me make this list. Let me write this out of the things I haven't dealt with. And then I don't dismiss my trauma. I don't dismiss my feelings. And I don't dismiss my struggle and my journey. because it happened. It hurt. It bothered me. It affected me. Until I can admit that, I can't heal. There comes a point that I have to take the bandage off and expose the wound. Ooh, but this, oh, this, and and what's most important is this, and this is what I really want you to hear me with. You expose that in a sealed off place. What do you mean by that, Pastor Hope? I can't take the bandage off my wound in the middle of chaos. I can't take the bandage off in front of everybody. I need to be in a sterilized environment while I'm trying to heal. Because I can't heal openly with everybody. I can't expose that to everybody. I can't expose that to all type of other germs and diseases. That I can't. When a mother gets ready to go into labor, they sterilize that room, and everybody and anybody is not allowed to enter in and out that room. They give you a choice of 1 or 2 people, and then everybody else is shut off. When those people are in that room, they are sanitized, they are sterilized, they have on the right equipment. They're not allowed to keep going in and out. Once they're in to the process is complete, and that's it. Stop allowing in and everybody out of your life in your time of brokenness. Everybody can't handle this part of your life. Some people got to wait in the waiting room, and it's okay. Cheer me on from down there, but in this place that I'm in right here, I can't allow you in my inner course because I'm open and I'm bleeding and my stuff is being exposed, and I can't have anything right here in this space that's going to contaminate what it is I'm trying to bring forth. I have to allow myself to be settled with having just a few in this moment until I allow myself to get to the place where I'm done producing what I need to produce until that process is complete, and then we can all come together and celebrate. But everything is not for me to make a Facebook status. Everything is not for me to tweet. Everything is not for me to put on Instagram. Everything is not for me to make a phone call, because I can't expose this part of my life. I have to heal. Oh, Sister Sonia, absolutely. Most people are definitely afraid of the adoption process. It's hard to be by yourself to deal with you. It's easy when it's a crowd. It's easy. It's easy when it's a crowd because I know how to put it on, and I know how to adjust it, and I know how to make it look good, and I know how to put it on and set it together, and I know how to do all that to make it look like it's easy. I know how to post on Facebook and make this healing journey look like it's an easy thing. I know how to put the quotes out there, and I know how to take the pictures, and I know how to do the videos, and I know how to vlog it. But there comes a point when I can't vlog when I'm crying in the midnight hour. I can't talk about when I'm up at night when I'm alone with my own thoughts. I can't talk about the times when I feel like I'm about to lose my mind because I don't know what's next. There's a point that it has to be just me and God. And I'm going to have to deal with me. Alicia DeBay says healing doesn't mean the damage never existed. It means the damage no longer controls your life. At what point are you going to take your life back? At what point are you going to take your voice back from the trauma that you experienced? How long is the rape, the molestation, the abuse, the abandonment, the loneliness, the brokenness? How long is it going to silence you? How long is it going to sever your ability to have relationships? How long is it going to cause you to sit in a corner and rock back and forth? How long are you going to allow that to control you and become your identity? As Sarah Jake says, girl, it's time to get up. It's time to move forward. It's time to heal. It's time to be made whole. It's time to stop identifying and making friends with your brokenness. Your brokenness is not your friend. It's just comfortable. And we have found ourselves in a place where we have learned to work around our dysfunction. Well, that's just who I am. Why? I've always been like that. Why? That's just how I respond. Why? Let's deal with that. Because that's not who you are. That's the broken little girl that's crying out for help. That's the broken little girl that's crying out for attention. That's the broken little girl that wants to be made whole. That's the broken little girl that doesn't understand. That's not who you are. You have learned to put on your trauma. You've learned to dress yourself in trauma and make it look pretty. You got a mask on the mask. So it's important that we take the time to find our way back to the root. Why am I like this? What has this situation or these situations stolen from me? And how do I get it back? How do I find myself again? How do I put myself back together? Going back to Sunday, why must we insist on carrying things we were never designed to carry? If we're going to start our healing journey, we have to start it for real, not for play. Another key fact of starting your healing journey is you can't look all over for solutions and relief. Strange fires will produce strange fruit. When you're healing, you can't just be over here just trying anything to alleviate the pain. Because you're mixing up stuff and then you wonder why you're sick. You're mixing up stuff and then you wonder why you feel like you're about to lose your mind. You're mixing up stuff and then you wonder why nothing seems. I feel like I'm stagnated. I feel like nothing is working. I feel like it because you're mixing up it's too many voices in your head. It's not responsible to get on to decide you're going through healing and you just get on YouTube and just start scrolling and looking at people's sermons. You get on Facebook and you just start scrolling and looking on people's statuses. You get on TikTok and you just start going through people's deliverance lives and prophetic lives and you seeking words from everybody who got the title of prophet and prophetess on their name. You taking in stuff that is not designed for your spirit. Everybody can't come in to your delivery room. Does that make those people wrong?
No.
Absolutely not. But when you get in surgery, when you go in labor, whatever you are in that sterile environment, whether you want to relate it to surgery, whether you want to relate it to labor, when you get in that environment, that doesn't mean that that's the only doctor in the hospital that is qualified to handle that situation, but it does mean that's the only doctor in the hospital that has been assigned to that room. You got to know who's assigned to your room and leave it there. Stop inviting other people in with their expertise and they're not assigned to your room. Oh, that was so good. Oh, you spoke right to my spirit. Oh, yeah, and now stop taking everything in. Because yes, you may be qualified. Yes, you may know something about my situation. But if I'm in surgery, only the doctor that has been assigned to my surgery knows my complete medical history. So you may be telling me something that could very well be a help, but you're assigning me to do something that I'm actually allergic to. What you mean by that? You may be assigning me something that's going to trigger something else that you didn't even know I've already been through. But there's a person that's been assigned to my delivery room that knows I've been through this, so we can't go about it this way. We got to go around it another way. In other words, stop taking in everybody because everybody doesn't know the full story. It's easy for me to prophesy to your life and tell you something, and I'm not assigned to you. It sounds good, but I don't know your full story. And I'm not trying to be churchy, but get you a pastor and stay in your church. It's hard. I read this on Facebook today, y'all, and it blew my mind. It blew my mind. It's hard to hear God's voice when you've already decided what you want him to say. And a lot of times, that's why we can't heal. Because we've convinced ourselves that we can finish God's sentences. Oh, I know what God's about to do right here. No, you don't. If you did, you wouldn't be on the surgical table. You'd be the one behind the mask. But the fact that you're on the surgical table means that you don't know what you need to know about yourself. And so you put yourselves in the hands of someone who is capable to lead you and to guide you and to do what needs to be done. So I understand I don't have the answers. I understand that my way wasn't working because before I came here, I was broken. Before I came here, I learned to work around it. Before I came here, where I had talked myself out of ever needing healing for that moment. But now I understand that in this place that I'm in, I have to heal. It is critical for my life. I can't continue the way that I'm going. I'm tired of being stuck. I'm tired of being stagnant. I'm tired of being broken. Tired of wondering what's next. Tired of following these same cycles. Tired of dealing with these same pains. Tired of dealing with this same hurt. Tired of dealing with this same abuse. Tired of dealing with these same traumas. I'm tired. Good. Now that you're tired, what are you going to do about it? It's not enough to be tired. What's next? I'm glad you're tired. Praise God you're tired. What's next? When you try to feed your emotions, it doesn't bring about healing. It brings about confusion. Your emotions can't lead your healing. I'm acknowledging them, but they can't lead me. I admit that they're there, but I'm going to decide what I'm going to do with them. They're not going to lead me. If I'm going to heal, I have to allow myself to complete the journey. I have to allow myself to deal with the ugly parts of me. Let me deal with the parts of me that say, hope you nasty. Hope you got a nasty attitude. Hope you're angry. Hope you're broke. Let me deal with the parts of me I don't want to deal with. It's not that you are not a people person. You just don't know how to build relationships because you've never had to build relationships. It's not that I don't know how to deal with people. It's that I'm afraid to get attached to people because I don't want people to leave me like my mama did. I don't want people to leave me like my daddy did. I don't want people to leave me like that best friend who walked. Whatever my situation is, it affects more than just now. It's affecting my next. And at some point, I got to stop making excuses for the bandage and get rid of it. No more excuses. No more excuses. It's time to deal with me. It's time to face the reality. This is not who I am. And I'm determined to find out who I am. The whole me. It's time to introduce me to me. We would find out we really owe some people some apologies. Excuse me for how I treated you in my brokenness. Please forgive me for how I treated you in my hard place, how I treated you as a result of my trauma. Because if I'm honest, it wasn't all them. I played a part in that too. Because I didn't know how to deal with me. If I'm going to heal, that healing causes me to look at myself in the mirror and continue until I like what I see. And tell myself, I love you and it's okay and we're going to be better. Because even though I'm healing, I'm not throwing myself away. I still have to love me enough to be healed. I have to love me enough to keep going. I have to love me enough to press forward. And that means constantly looking myself in the mirror and evaluating who I am. On your healing journey, ask yourself these questions. Who has God made me to be? Who am I fighting to become? What am I fighting against? What do I need from God? What is God requiring of me? What have I procrastinated in? And what changes do I need to make to be a better me? As I follow the journey, I begin to discover who I am. That's good. It is not an overnight process. It is not a pretty process. It is not a easy process. But it's critical and it's necessary. If you're going to start it, don't start it for social media. Don't start it because it's cute. Don't start it because it's trending. Start it because you want to be made whole. I'm going to repeat the questions one more time, and I'll make a status later and I'll post them on Hope McCants Ministry. Who has God made me to be? Who am I fighting to become? What am I fighting against? What do I need from God? What is God requiring of me? What have I procrastinated in? What changes do I need to make to be a better me? I'm tired of living the way that I'm living. I want to be able to walk out of the house without the mask. Y'all remember we just came out of a pandemic. It was so breathtaking to be able to walk out the house and not have to put a mask on, just to go into the air, period. There's some places you absolutely, hospitals and stuff, still pulling the mask, absolutely. But it was after you, the best part of getting ready to come into your house was being able to walk in your front door and take that mask off and be able to breathe. I want to be able to not have to put on a mask to entertain people. If we're honest with ourselves, that's a lot of the reason why our social batteries tap out so fast. Because all right, I've given you all I've given to pretend I'm okay today. I'm tired. I've given you all I've given to pretend like me and I sit right by Jesus on the throne. I'm tired. If we're honest, it's tiring pretending to be something while you're hurting, while you're broken, while you're empty. But let's not just talk about it. Let's do something about it so that I no longer have to pretend. I can just be who I am, healed and whole. That's me and my sister's mantra for 2023. Until healed and whole. If I'm going to be healed and whole, it's time for me to deal with me. Me versus me. Who am I? It's time for us to deal with the real. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I love you all. As we walk this healing journey together, remember you are not alone. Stay in the place and let God be God. You all be blessed and have a great night.